All right, looks like we're live, Joan.
Greetings, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our Portal to Ascension updates. I am your co host, Joan of Angels. So, today we're going to talk about a new phenomenon, well, not so new to many of you, referred to as walk ins. And if you don't know what that is, you are about to get very excited over all the uplifting information that we're going to share with you today, as well as our upcoming conference. So, you're going to find out what is a walk in, who, what, where, and why about the walk in consciousness. So, we're excited to have you on our show. I'm Joan of Angels. If you're new to me and my tribe, just don't forget to join our YouTube channel and like, subscribe, and share. And that's very much appreciated. And just so you know, I was given the name Joan of Angels in 2015 after being called to paint 33 angels in 30 days. And since then, I've been channeling and painting sacred art and coaching. I'm an intuitive and I am a soul mastery coach, mentor. And I invite you to check out my website, joanofangels.com, and get your free ebook. So that's enough about me. We're going to turn you over to Neil Gaur, the founder of Portal to Ascension. Hi, Neil.
Hey, Joan. Hey, everybody. So good to be here with you all. Extremely excited today. My lighting's kind of funny, so you have me and my shadow. We're both here together, here to talk to you. And this is the Portal to Ascension show. We're going live every Tuesday. We did not go live last Tuesday because I was in a 10-day Ayurvedic retreat that I just got out of literally 4 hours ago and got to my new hotel here. So I'm feeling pretty good. 20 sessions of yoga in the last 10 days, gourmet Ayurvedic food. So really been good for me to kind of reset my energies and do a lot of self-healing. So I'm excited to be here back now on this show, in which we're going to continue going weekly. We have shows scheduled until April at this point, every single week, on some amazing individuals. And today's topic is walk-ins. So we have a couple of guests with us here today, but I'm going to just hand it back to Joan, and maybe you can just talk about that a little more, and then we can get started and bring on our guests.
All right. So, yes, we're going to be doing these Portal to Ascension. Think of them as previews, a little taste of what's coming and of all the amazing speakers that we have to share with you. But today, we are going to be, first of all, speaking with Sheila Seppi, who's the founder of the Wish Alliance. And why don't you give us a little moment about you, Sheila? And then we'll go to Alan, who is also the founder of New Realities TV. And all of them are into definitely the UFO world.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Sheila Seppi, and I am the founder of the Wish Alliance. You can visit our website at wishalliance.org. And we are a conscious evolution movement for anyone who is looking for any type of universal knowledge or spiritual growth, education, community. Anyone who is looking for those types of things, please check us out. Every Thursday night, we have meetings called Cosmic Conversations, where we have phenomenal speakers. And right now we're focusing on bringing in some speakers who are going to be part of the conference that's coming up. And this will be the second annual walk-in conference. And I'm so excited because the first annual walk-in conference was really an outgrowth of a book I had written, Walk-ins, The Cosmology of the Soul. And I am a walk-in. I came in 1999. I entered into the body of a 38-year-old mother who had 3 children. And basically, my world was rocked. Her world was rocked. We actually, because I'm a soul exchange, we changed places. But it took me several years to fully integrate and to understand what exactly it meant to be a walk-in. But once I did, started taking the second step. I did write the book, but as a process of that, even more started pulling together other walk-ins and saying, look, we're here for a reason. And what are we going to do? Because a walk-in is coming in from another space-time dimension, from another planet, and they are actually entering into the body of people who already have souls. These are always agreed upon situations. And like in my case, I was very, very sick and had multiple documented illnesses. A lot of the people who I've talked to have discovered that their walk-ins through accidents, illnesses. They woke up from a coma and they were somebody totally different. And there's several types of walk-ins. As I said, I'm a soul exchange, but there's what's called a soul infusion, where a portion of the original soul stays and more of the soul comes in from the higher oversoul. And the other type is a braid, where you actually have two souls that are inhabiting a body. Then you have what's called an overlay, where you have the original soul, the natal soul, and you have another soul that comes in, attaches to it like a neoprene suit, acts like a battery charger, and helps the soul to heal. And then you have a multi-layered soul that actually comes in with multiple aspects of itself. And as I wrote the book, I was very, very fortunate to find individuals who really possessed all of these different, I don't really want to say categories, but different layers of expression of their soul. And so we have a 2-day walk-in conference coming up where we have a whole new lineup of individuals who themselves are souls. We have some who are from the angelic realm. We have some individuals who are coming to us from different dimensions. We have some that are soul exchanges, and most of them are soul what it sounds to me like are either soul overlays or they are soul infusions. And I believe that right now on the planet, we have a lot of soul infusions, not just from walk-ins, but from people who are actually doing all of their spiritual work. And during this conference, we're going to have the opportunity to bring in all of these individuals to share their experience. And at the end of each day, we're going to have panels. And during the first, on Saturday, January the 8th, we will be having a panel where we're going to be viewing a video that a woman has made. It's called the Neon Star, that really shows a lot of orb-like craft, spacecraft. And the reason I thought it was important to bring this topic in with the walk-ins is because walk-ins are not from here. We're from out there. And to me, now that I've become integrated, it just feels like we need to let people know where we're from, because that's just as important. And who's not to say that that's not part of our mission, is to help people wake up, to help the planet wake up to the truth of who we are and where we're from. And then on the second night, we're also going to have another panel. And on this panel, we're going to have individuals who are sharing where they are actually from. Now, they may or may not be walk-ins, but they remember the planets that they come from. Some of the individuals, Joan, if you could kind of go back up just real quick, I want to hit on some of these folks. You can see that we have a plethora of individuals that will be talking during this conference. Phil Gruber is going to be sharing with us about indigo souls, which also are walk-ins. We have Nicholas David Newen, and Nicholas became a walk-in at the age of 7, and he woke up and had all of these spiritual truths and ended up actually having to part from his family because he knew he was not from here. Then we have Diva Grace, and Diva became a walk-in who is really I don't know if you would say she's an aspect of Gaia, but she has such a close connection with Gaia that she now is here helping with all of the earth grids, helping to anchor energy onto the planet, and helping to wake people up and providing healing sessions. Then we have Claire Candy Hughes, and Claire is a best-selling author as well. And Claire is an angelic walk-in. And so she's going to tell you all about her angelic experiences on the other side. Then we have Karen Swain, and Karen is a wonderful individual who has discovered that, yes, she too is a walk-in, and she discovered this through the healing sessions that she's providing, as well as the work that she's doing with the galactic councils. And then Karen actually had introduced me to Zoe, and Zoe goes by the name of Sage Oneness. And Zoe is another individual who has a very close connection to her star family, and she'll be doing some channeling for us. And then we have Jaden Fox, and Jaden is, I call him a hoot, because he's very lively and active, and he's a really funny guy, and he helps. He's a walk-in, a soul exchange, and he's had multiple experiences being a walk-in, and he's going to talk about how walk-ins become integrated, and those are the services that he provides. Then we have William Linville, and William lives in Tennessee, and William came in and states that he really has, through becoming a walk-in, been able to overcome all the lower dimensional energies and to be able to ascend while he's here on this planet. Then we have Jim Farley, and Jim is an interesting individual who also is a walk-in. He channels, he is a healer, and he is just really started to come into his own in the last couple years. And then we have Stephanie Lodge, and Stephanie also is an angelic walk-in, and she comes in from the other side. She works with her councils. She is visiting with the angels constantly, and so it'll be beautiful to hear her story, as well as Jason Addison Amos. And Jason is a walk-in who is also an animal communicator and a channeler, and he lives down in Sedona. So one of the things I'm hoping to again accomplish with this workshop and conference is when individuals hear these stories, voices carry a resonance, and it is my hope and intention that this resonance is going to help wake up some of the listening audience to the fact that they too may be a walk-in soul. So many people are waking up now on the planet, Joan, and they know they feel different. They know all of a sudden their likes have changed, everything about them's changed, and they can't really figure out what's going on. And so we hope those people will attend this conference so that they may discover that they're a walk-in and find their own community.
I love that. I was going to ask why it's really important, but I also want to get Alan introduced. And that was a great overview of the conference. And by the way, I think walk-ins are becoming more common. And I think we'll talk about that. So hi, Alan. Welcome.
Hey, how's this mic? Is that clear? Is that clear?
It's getting better. Yes,
Okay.
You are coming in from the other dimensions loud and clear.
Right. So what I want to say as a sort of social historian, I think me and Neil look at the overview and how different movements are coming forward at this time to change the way we look at consciousness. So what I think Sheila is doing with her cosmology of walk-ins is defining consciousness in new terms. So as we evolve as a spiritual society, we all know we're spirit, we all know we're incarnated into these bodies, right? That's a given to a certain level of advancing population. So how do we qualify that? How do we qualify this realm of consciousness? How do we dissect it and label it and make distinctions? You know, if you ever took landmark, they talk about distinctions, and distinctions are ways of categorizing reality. So what Sheila has brilliantly done is categorize the levels of consciousness that people are coming into as they kind of come into the body in different evolutionary stages. So I think this is an important cosmology and understanding how we're evolving and how we're going to understand the layouts of the soul as we move together into a more spiritually connected world. So it's not a religion or anything like that. It's understanding the science of soul incarnation. Like, how did we get into these bodies? Were you born in that body? Did you come in later? Are you bringing in a different level of yourself, a new level of yourself? I think this is really important because then we're understanding more of who we are. And there was just somebody's comment here that said they were in tears because suddenly it all made sense. Yes. I'm grateful. Yeah. Zen. So, this is probably one of the most important conferences. All the conferences we've done, the walk-ins, the hybrids, the starseeds, are really about building a new society. And this is what Portal to Ascension is so key on
Yes.
understanding the levels of consciousness. And that's what's exciting for me, because you can just say it's all consciousness, but until we make those distinctions, we're not really understanding who we are. And this is a chance to bridge a whole, let's say, new realities, a new reality into another way of understanding the human dimension.
That's actually brilliant, Alan, and it explains what Sheila's been doing. But I'm curious, for people who don't know much about walk-ins, how would you even know that you're a walk-in? Like what would tell you that you have something? Really, seriously, how would you, like, I've been sitting here having spoken to you guys for months and months on walk-ins, and I'm thinking, well, gosh, am I really a walk-in? Maybe that whole episode for me was a walk-in. So how would you know if you are a walk-in?
Well, there's
How
a
would you
couple
know?
different, yeah.
Yeah.
There
Yeah,
is
go
a
ahead,
couple,
Sheila.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a couple different ways. And one of the things on my original website, walkins.org, and that's walk-ins.org, I have a questionnaire. I think it's listed under the first heading where it says book, that people can go and look and ask themselves these questions. But for me, one of the very first things that happened is all of a sudden I started becoming clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient. I had no foundation, no metaphysical background whatsoever, had never studied these subjects. So all of a sudden, bam, all of these different layers of myself began to open up. I also immediately remembered past lives, which I did not believe in. I remembered healing methods, which I did not believe in. I remembered things about universal structure and the oversoul, and how everything is so multidimensional that I couldn't understand it then. I had really no languaging for that, but all of this information was flooding in. I had a total personality change. I changed my job within 3 months. I'd left the marriage. And so if people are finding that they have a lot of, all of a sudden, everything doesn't fit anymore, please visit the website, go through the questionnaire and check that out, because they may be a walk-in. But something else that I mentioned earlier on, because of where we are right now at this time in our planet's history, we are being inundated with new and higher frequencies. And as such, we are having different aspects of our own selves activated. Our DNA light codes are becoming more and more prevalent, and people are living from their place of soul as from a place of mind. They're living more from the heart. And what happens is, when we're living that way, we are able to embody more of our original soul, more of our higher consciousness, more of our higher self. And yes, we do have more walk-ins coming in all of the time, because there's walk-in programs with the Arcturians, there's walk-in programs with the Andromedans, and I know there's angelic programs that are actually set up, because there is a law of non-interference on this planet, to where we cannot have our star families come in and say, ta-da, here we are, guess what, and change us to the point that people drop dead from fear, or they're not ready to handle that. However, if you want troops on the ground, you can send them in. And you can do that through a walk-in. And then you are affecting change, as long as the walk-ins are able to wake up. And I came in, I remember the walk-in experience. I remember what it felt like. And I came in conscious. And so that veil never closed again. I just didn't know I was a walk-in. I thought I was having a psychotic break. So if you think you're having a psychotic break, you very well could be a walk-in.
That's interesting. And also your relationships change. The life you were
Absolutely.
living seems to have changed.
Everything.
What were you going to say, Alan?
I was just going to give a little background where the term walk-in came from. It came from
Oh,
Ruth Montgomery in a book she wrote, Strangers Among Us. And that was like, what? How is that possible? That was what, in the 70s or 80s, Sheila?
Mm-hmm.
And that
Mm-hmm.
concept came into the kind of spiritual community. Was it what year was that? Do you remember?
Gosh, I don't remember. I've
yeah,
got
that
the
was
book.
like the 75, 78.
It
Yeah,
could be
it
Yeah,
was
so.
extravagant.
like
We
70.
need language and categorizations, what Sheila does, in order to explain our experience as humans,
Right.
as the human part. The higher part already knows, but to integrate these other levels of experience, language
Mhm.
and language to communicate to ourselves and to each other, is what we're also developing as consciousness evolves. So if you're watching this, you should come to the walk-in conference, because it is about a whole other level of evolving society, a conscious
Mhm.
community,
Right.
spiritual activism of the higher mind. That's what we're trying to understand here. And this is the beginning of a new era. This is why we're coming into this time with new language, with new ways of describing experience. So some people say, yeah, it just happened overnight. And this is one way to experience. Well, what happened to you overnight? Maybe, as Sheila breaks it down, a higher part, a different part, a new part came in, and acceleration and activation and ascensions are
Yeah,
happening.
Mhm.
They're
it's
Some of
accelerating.
happening all over now. People
Yes.
some of
are
the walk-in
waking up.
experiences are
What
just
was
like, so I said some of the testimonials of the walk-ins are just like so incredibly phenomenal that I actually had a friend that I connected with 8 9 years ago, and he actually I sent an email out in Portal to Ascension like 9 years ago, right? And he my phone number was in the email, so he called me and he goes, "Hey, I'm a walk-in. I just arrived like a couple of years ago, and I don't have any support group. I don't have any spiritual friends. You're the first email list I signed up to. I really need some guidance and assistance." And we became really good friends. And he was actually a UFC fighter. And so what happened was that he was extremely overweight, had multiple diseases, and he was in the hospital on his deathbed. Um, he basically flatlined, died, woke up, new person, new soul in the body. Within months, the weight just shedded right off him. He became a bodybuilder and a UFC fighter within like
wow?
2 years. Within 2 years of this experience on his deathbed, and so we had a great connection and talked about it. But that was the first time I ever heard of a walk-in, and I started doing research on it. I had my doubts. I talked to him, had conversations, and he would say that he would walk by like lights and lamps on the street, and then like it would overpower, and he could feel his energy of it. But he was kind of alone, and he didn't have the support that he needed. In
Right.
and To like get to the end of the story here, he actually committed suicide, and I spoke about this before because he literally felt all alone and disconnected and didn't know what was going on, had all these memories of extraterrestrial life and where he came from, and he just did not like it on this planet. And because he didn't have the support, he told me three
Right.
times over a period of 2 years, I think I'm going to kill myself. And I tried to give him
Wow.
assistance and tell him, hey, you got to connect with some people, get some help. He was in the magazine. He was in Men's Bodybuilding magazine front cover, right?
Mm.
And had a great life, but he couldn't even share it with anybody in the UFC field. And then he literally took his own life because he couldn't take the density anymore. So when you came up to me, Sheila, and talked about having this walk-ins thing, and then we went and ended up creating and cultivating your support group that you've had, that really was my main thought right there of like, if you feel alone and disconnected, I felt alone and disconnected a lot of my life. So just having that place to really share and have community and support each other in our challenges as we're moving forward is really important at this time. And I feel
It
that is what
is.
we're really cultivating with these events that we're doing together.
Yeah,
It
I think
is.
we're helping lots of people who need to find what's happening to them, especially in this confusing time. But
Uh,
uh, wait, I just want to add. There's a question there, Sheila. Do you see it from Donna C? Dana C? What's the difference between walk-in and merge? Do you see that question? Do you
Because
want
one
to?
soul walk out during the walk-in and they both stay during the merge. So that is a question for Sheila.
Yes.
Yeah.
During a merge can be a couple different things. First off, the merge can be what a lot of people call a braided soul, where you have the two souls in the body. But more than that, I believe that's what's called the overlay. Because when you have another soul that comes in, that overlay that can serve as a battery charger, if this aspect is still weak, then the two of them will merge and they will make one. Also, a merging could be considered as part of jumper is different. I'll talk about that too. As part of the infusion, the soul infusion. So it could be that they are merging with higher aspects of themselves, higher multidimensional aspects of themselves. And so I have come to understand that walk-ins, infusions, all of these things are really what's called soul experiences. Just like a Kundalini awakening is a soul experience, a spiritual awakening is a soul experience. A walk-in, for me, is when one soul leaves and another soul comes in. But there are so many variations of that they've all been lumped in what's called just a walk-in category, but they're very, very different. And so now I'm really trying to spread that out to let people see these are soul experiences that we're having. Everyone is having soul experiences of some sort or the other. And yes, there are soul jumpers. And jumpers are when you have another soul that temporarily inhabits the body for a certain experience and leaves. And they may stay for hours, days, or weeks. They do not stay for long periods of time. Now, some people have said that they have had a walk-in to come in, and then that walk-in left. And what happens when that occurs is that new soul aspect actually imprints on the physical structure of that person. And so even though what they might think as, oh, that soul left, maybe it came to bring this new information. Maybe it came to help infuse the body, to help do detoxing, clearing, wake up the light codes inside the body. So there's so many different types of soul experiences. And I think that we're going to see more and more of these unique soul experiences happening on the planet.
Right. I just want to say, Sheila, if people are listening and they don't want to be walked in on, just love yourself, honor your body, honor your experience. Know who you are. Know who you are. Know that
These
you
are
are vast.
Well, that gives,
yeah,
I have a question about that then.
Dimensions. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So isn't a walk-in just another version of your own soul incarnated somewhere else?
Yes.
It's never a takeover
Right.
by something else, right?
No, it's not. It's not a hostile takeover. It's not, and it's also nothing that you can ask for. You know, you can ask for more of your higher self to come in, but a walk-in experience like what I had with that, and I'll talk about that because yes, it is a different aspect, but it's kind of a long story. But you can ask for more of your higher self to come in. Now, in my case, during the hybrid conference, we had Daryl Ank there, and he was talking about Bashar. And so I asked a question. I said, okay, so, you know, I'm a walk-in, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, and he explained that it's another aspect of my soul. And I said, but I have no memories of the other life. I have no memories. So if this is another aspect of my soul, wouldn't I be able to remember kind of what's going on? And he said, not in my case. And so if it's not in my case, it would be not in a lot of people's case. He said the aspect that came in is an aspect that is like future evolution, but not necessarily of the aspect that was originally inhabiting the body. So when this future aspect came in, it had never been in a body. It was not an evolution of the previous soul. It was a totally different aspect that was part of a collective who had lived Arcturian and Palladian and Andromedan and Lyran and all of these different angelic and Elohim lives that had kind of blended in together. And we were in the Andromedan system and heard this vibration or a vibratory, it's almost like a calling out of Gaia for assistance. And we came and began to enshroud the planet, as there were others there as well. But we began working to upgrade the crystalline system, the crystalline matrix of the planet. And so with this aspect, it had never been to Earth. It had never lived this. And so when I started questioning, and in past life regressions, I have discovered that the memories that I had when I woke up that I thought were past life memories are two different things. First, there were some past life memories that were awakened in the physical matrix of this body when that new energy came in and just sprang and burst those light codes open. I was able to access the encoding of the physical genetics of this body. And then the other thing is we have soul encoding. So when I came in, I infused this body because I had been very sick, had documented illnesses, bone cancer, brain tumor, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue. I walked with a cane. I had erythema nodosum, sarcoidosis, blah, blah, blah. I was very, very sick. And immediately this physical body was healed. And by that energetic frequency coming into the body, that's what opened up all of these memories. But they weren't my memories. My memories were from that collective. And so that's why when I came in, I had an immediate knowing and loving for my children and my parents, but I was totally disconnected from everyone, including the husband. And so I left in 3 months. And that was that, because there was nothing in common. So I had nothing to do with that other person that was an aspect. And all of us have these many hundreds of thousands and billions of aspects that are out there. And
what happens to that aspect, though, Sheila? Is that just dissolve, or does that go someplace?
Well, with that particular aspect, when I came in, there was an Arcturian ship that aspect went on to. So the original soul to this body was purely Arcturian. And so there was already an energetic framework, a kind of a etheric neurological system, so that when I came in, because I had Arcturian lifetimes, I brought more of those aspects in and didn't fry the body, but instead was able to heal it. And so soul aspects never die. We never die. We just continue to move and to live. And maybe we become a dimensional being. Maybe we become, a being on another planet. But we always are living. Always. We're pure consciousness. We're part of source energy. And as such, we never ever die.
So that part of, I'm just wondering, that part of you is where's that other part of you feel now?
Well, it left with the Arcturians. And so whether it went back to have soul restoration, whether it went back to its family, I have no idea. But I do know.
Do you think there'll be a reintegration process at some point when that soul is restored?
Yes. There can be a reintegration process. So like with a normal soul departure, which the other soul was not, but with a normal soul departure, when we drop our robe or die, then that soul will go back to the other side. And typically there is a resting period. There's a restoration. And if this has been an extremely abusive or traumatic lifetime, then there's soul healing. And that takes place with, it's light, sound, frequency. It's almost like this beautiful shower that comes down and really begins to clear that soul and make it whole. But you also have to remember, we have time on this planet just through our different time matrices, so that we can experience karma and etc. down here. But on the other side, there is no time. And so a soul can leave, go back and be healed and be off doing something else in a matter of a short period of time, or it could seem like a long time to us, but because there's no time, it would seem almost instantaneous.
Right, right. So I have a question. So, and it's a question from the chat actually, but let me read it and say my piece, and then Sheila, you can take it away. So John Johnson saying, I'm not really sure how much importance should be placed on being a walk-in. I really believe we're here to learn, to love, and that's it. So let me just say this first. Um, so I feel I'm not into labels myself. I feel that we're moving into a time where we're redefining what that is, and we've been in this world where we identify stuff with labels, and I don't think it's a bad thing to label things. I think that's just the human construct of this dimension that we're in. And then to answer the question on um, bringing importance to this, it is a phenomenon that is occurring. And what happens with Portal to Ascension is we're blessed to have the opportunity to explore every single topic, including this one. It's not just limited to, oh, let's explore something else. It's like, okay, let's explore this and something else, everything. But I want you to really answer this, Sheila. What do you feel about just what John's question is right there?
I mean, I totally agree in the concept of being attached to a story, trying to label people and things. But when we're talking about being a walk-in and we're talking about the different types of a walk-in, that's more about helping people discover who they already are. And I have to say that when I came in with a very firm mission to be a way shower, to help people wake up, to help them remember who they are, to help them heal, to help them move on to their mission. And so doing these types of workshops, doing these interviews, I talk about walk-ins and I talk about the story only as a way to help other people wake up, to help people remember. And I probably always will talk about it, not that it really defines who I am, but it tells people that there's more to life than what we believe, that we've been told. There's so much more out there. And we are moving into a new time where things are changing. We're creating a brand new paradigm on this planet. Not just walk-ins, but all of us collectively. And walk-ins are here with a mission. And that's what these workshops and conferences are about, is to let people share their mission, because every one of the speakers we're going to have has something to offer to help people, to help them heal, to help them wake up, to help them be able to get past all of the things that they might consider stumbling blocks, to help them love themselves, to accept themselves. Because I can tell you, judgment, shame, blame, that's all human stuff. There is no shame, blame, or judgment on the other side. That we do come here for an experience. And that's why I came here, because I wanted to be part of this experience, of this conscious expansion, of this waking up of the planet. And that's where we are. And so each one of us, everyone out there who's listening, each one of you have a piece of that pie. It's just mine happens to be the walk-in story and helping people to wake up. Yours might be, hey, I've had a soul integration. I'm having a soul merging, or all of a sudden I woke up and all of these brand new concepts were flooding through my mind. And as we're able to bring this in and as we're able to integrate it, all we really have to do is to be in other people's presence. And by being in that presence, our aura is helping to wake up their auras. Like, hey, friend, hey, remember me? Remember? And I believe that we're all here having this collective experience together. So labels, yeah, they're not that important, but they do help us to be able to explain what's happening in our lives and what our place is on this planet at this time.
Right. And just to add to that real quick, Joan, before you say anything, I just want to finish off John's statement here, is that first of all, John Johnson asks the best questions every time. He always asks good stuff.
He always does.
So yeah, and
What
you
was
know
the
what?
question?
Saying that just made me completely forget what I was going to say.
What's the
But,
question
okay.
John asked?
Well, he was asking about the whole aspect of it being a label. Here we go. I remember now. He was saying that I don't really need another aspect of myself to learn to love. Well, we're not really talking about that specifically here, because it's not really about the love aspect, even though it is, because you can learn to love no matter who you are, where you are, walk in or not walk in. It's about the downloads and the awareness of this connection, because we come to this planet with amnesia. We don't remember our incarnations. We don't remember our extraterrestrial lives, our past lives. Some of us do, but even those are not vivid memories. They're, like, I was this person in a past life. Well, do you remember what you ate for breakfast? You know what I mean? Like, when it comes to being a walk-in, it's a whole other realm of awareness that floods into your consciousness that you're able to utilize for the upliftment and the remembrance of people. Avatars have incarnated multiple times with complete remembrance. Buddha, Christ, and
Right.
more. They come with this remembrance to offer us the insight of what it really means to be a human on this planet that we forgot. And these walk-ins are like these individuals, these avatars that are coming here. And some of them don't have complete remembrance. Some of them only have certain aspects. But those are the aspects that they are literally commissioned with to come to this planet and present on this planet, so that they can fill in the pieces of this amnesiatic process that we've been under. And that's my personal take on it.
Wow. Well, I think the interesting thing about the walk-ins, just so I have my 10 cents here, is that number one, many of the walk-ins experience a complete healing from whatever disease ailed their body in the past. So that is actually an amazing testimony. And as Sheila said, it was the addition of her gifts and her skills and her intuitive gifts. But I want to share something for people to think about. So on Thanksgiving Day, I was with our family friend, Kathy, and her daughter, Tiffany. Tiffany had a reaction shortly after her second, her second shot. And she was bending over, and suddenly she could no longer walk. She lost all feeling in her feet and legs. And the doctors told her it was a condition caused as a definite side effect, but also they gave her a name, transverse myelitis, which is almost incurable. So Tiffany went into quite a shock, but I did a reading for her 2.5 months later on Thanksgiving Day. And as I'm doing the reading, I'm becoming aware that she's actually had a whole shift in her consciousness. She's sitting there. Now, here's a girl who was brought up kind of on the streets in Long Beach, sort of half ghetto, half not. She's sending me new things about sound healing. Okay.
Mhm.
So suddenly I know that this girl, and she's 29 years old, has had a radical shift in her consciousness. And I said to her, do you feel like some other personality or being walked in, that you're not the same person that had this side effect? And so I turned her on to this. I'm going to interview her and turn her on to the walk-ins. But I think that's really important, that even a crisis or a reaction like that, and her body, the doctors are telling her they've never seen anyone get any feeling back as fast as some guy said to her, it's taken me 14 years and I feel nothing. So being aware of, I think, any kind of trauma that could happen also. And I just have this feeling more and more people are coming in as walk-ins. What do you think about that, guys?
Well, I just want to say something about what you mentioned when the person is healed because there's a new consciousness in there.
Mm-hmm.
It really proves that illness is an aspect of consciousness.
Yes.
It's like the vibration you're at creates situations. So if you shift the vibration, you shift the vibration of the body, you shift the frequencies, you shift so much. This is how Rife works, the Rife vibrational field. When you shift, but you can shift your field by changing your mind, and
so being a new personality with a high consciousness.
To be a walk-in, you just need to let go of all the things that have kept you in that old place. So it's a work in progress, and there's many ways to do it. I mean, walk-in maybe is the most painless. The other way is hard work, where you really have to go and look at your stuff and say, okay, what do I believe? What is keeping me in this place? And shift it. So both things are possible. Doesn't matter. That's why I think another value of the walk-in conference, which is coming up. What day is it coming up again, Sheila?
It's January the 8th and 9th. That's on a Saturday and a Sunday.
That's on portaltoascension.org, January 8th and 9th. 2 days of understanding the shift in consciousness that happens to many, many people. There's some are dramatic, some are gradual, some are integrated, but this is an evolution, I think, of a spiritual culture And as you talk, Sheila, I learn more and more about the awakening of consciousness and what we're capable of being not a walking or being a walking. What were you going to say, Joan? Were you going to say something?
I'm not saying anything now. I'm just listening. And yeah, I agree. And I think this walk-in conference is really important. People are going through a huge shift in consciousness, and there's unlimited possibilities. Look, unlimited possibilities for healing, for consciousness raising,
Yes.
for sharing. And we can't do it alone. I think even reading people's comments here on the side, we cannot do these changes alone anymore. There's too much happening, and it's important to collaborate. It's important to kind of find out what other people are doing. In fact, with one of your speakers, Claire Candy Howe, she was the first time I knew you could be an angel walk-in, was through her and her memories of what it was like to be in heaven. And actually, when I was talking to her, I interviewed her years ago, I felt like I was walking there with her, and it woke up my own memories. So it's also really important to wake up our memories.
Well, I also want to comment on what you said, Joan, that we can't do it alone. Sometimes it happens alone, but we need community to support these changes. I mean, if Sheila just had that experience and never found the teacher that really told you what happened, you would be in some sort of institution thinking you were crazy. But you found the right people, and now you're doing incredible work, bringing this knowledge, healing people at your center, writing those books. I mean, this is why we do need community. You're absolutely right, to help. You know, Ram Dass says we're all here just walking each other home. And so that's what we're doing. We are all in this together, and we're all in this alone. So it's that duality of alone and together. We need each other to affirm an evolutionary experience. And that's why it's so important that your Wish Alliance, you want to talk a little bit about that? Because we have a big thing coming up this Thursday on the Wish Alliance with some really
I
interesting
love those
people.
Thursday nights. So yes, talk about it. I'm going to put it right here.
Okay. So the Wish Alliance, as I said earlier, is a conscious evolution movement that is really offering education, community, spiritual upliftment, and even promotion of our spiritual community. You don't have to be a walk-in. You don't have to be a hybrid. You don't have to be an indigo. You don't have to be a starseed, although I do believe everybody on the planet's a starseed and a hybrid as well. But you don't have to have that awakening knowledge. Maybe you just are looking for support or community. Every Thursday night, we have tons of speakers every Thursday night that come. This coming Thursday on the 2nd, we have Phil Gruber, and we also have Marina Serene. And Marina is a hybrid. She's she's 21 years old. She is just waking up to the fact she's been in the secret space program. She's had all types of these experiences that she's been sharing with people. And again, when you hear it, it resonates something that's true for you and helps you to wake up to your own knowing. And Phil has been wonderful to support us. And he was one of the first speakers that we had this year. And so now that it's December, I've invited our original speakers. So we'll have Phil and Marino. We're going to have Hildegard Miner, who is a walk-in from Andromeda that woke up in the hospital, and she actually had died. She was having a near-death experience hovering above the body. She saw the whole thing. She remembers coming in from the other side, and when she woke up in the hospital and they said, "Oh my goodness, do you remember, who are you? What's going on?" How doctors will ask you, and she goes, "Oh yes, I'm a 7th dimensional consciousness scientist come from Andromeda to help this planet," and she said she really understood quickly. She couldn't talk about that, or she'd be in a different hospital room. But she will be there, and then also Kiara Windrider. And Kiara, if you don't know about Kiara, he's a beautiful speaker. He's a wonderful author, and he has such a connection with Gaia and how he brings the energy of the planet through himself and shares his understanding about humanity as a luminous being. And
I just want to say, No, I just want to invite people to join the Wish Alliance because
Please.
we want more team members. If you're part of this team, we want
Right.
you there because you might have a little piece that somebody needs to hear. And
Yes,
we're all coming together on these conferences, but it's also the audience, the people listening are a big part of it, the
absolutely.
chat
Absolutely.
and their presence.
And
So
can we share the event page again? Because someone pull
Yes,
it up.
we
I think
can.
were you
Hold
going to say something
on.
else, Sheila?
Okay.
I
I'm
was,
going to
if
share.
if people are
Oh,
interested, please go to the wishalliance.org to our contact section and sign up. We'll put you on the mailing list. And every week, then you'll receive an invitation to these meetings that has the link to the meeting. And you can also go to our events section, and we have all of the speakers listed, and the link is listed there. And we have the information about the walk-in conference coming up, which is through Portal to Ascension. And Neil, Neil and Alan, you both have been such a huge supporter of this concept. And when I said that I wanted to put a walk-in conference on, Alan was right there, introduced me to Neil. Neil had already been, kind of percolating this idea. And so it was just a perfect marriage there.
mm,
And Neil has a wonderful website. If you're not familiar with that, you've got to check it out. There are so many phenomenal speakers.
mm.
But
But
here you
this
go.
Well, we
Thursday,
have people signing up, just so you know. I feel like
oh,
we're doing an auction or something. Yes.
oh,
Thank
or a
you for signing up,
telethon or
guys.
something, but
It
uh,
it is going to be a great conference, and it is worth us telling you all about it for the
mm,
Yeah.
6 weeks we're going to have. So this is, I'm showing it now. We're going to go down and review some of the people. Now you know them better. There's Phil. And didn't you
yeah,
just say Phil is speaking tomorrow on Thursday?
yeah.
He's
Phil is
speaking on
speaking
Thursday. Yeah.
with Marina. I just also want to
Mhm.
say Marina is a superstar. She's 21 years old, and she
Yeah.
is. I have to call her, if you follow baseball, the rookie of the year. I really have to say that about her. She has like become an all-star. And
Yeah,
she has a huge following now, and she's 21, and the things that come out of her mouth, it's like,
right?
how does that happen? Because
Yeah.
it's not coming from her human existence. It's obvious,
Um,
right?
Just
Plus, you
FYI,
know,
real quick, Alan, we have a webinar that I'm doing with Marina. I have it set up now. She's giving me her content in
oh,
March, and then in February, I'm doing a solo webinar with Kimura. So what we
oh,
discussed,
nice.
it's in the works.
Great. And one
we have
more
a lot
thing
of
we're doing
upcoming.
now. Why don't you announce what we're doing on Sunday? Because I haven't seen much advertisement for it with Whitley and the Hertox.
Oh yeah, guys. So everybody here is on YouTube for the most part. So just click subscribe if you want to get updates on this. But on Sunday, December 5th at 12 noon, we're doing a panel with Whitley Strieber, JJ Desiree Hertak, Alan Steinfeld, and myself, and it's called Jesus: A New Vision of the Christ Consciousness, and it's
Whoa.
based on Whitley's new book, but it's going to expand into more than that, just about the general concept of, not only his book but Christ consciousness and the truths of the Bible and how we can decipher through it and utilize this awareness of the Christ consciousness in order for us to basically move forward in this world and evolve in consciousness.
Well, I just
So,
want to
and
say
I'm just
JJ and
so
Desiree Hertog are real
yeah.
scholars of the
Hmm.
ancient languages. They translated the Pista Sophia, which was supposedly Jesus returning after the crucifixion to teach his disciples the value of the divine feminine. And that was not put in the Bible, but the Pista Sophia that means holy wisdom, Pista
Yeah,
Sophia.
and
And
Tina, if you could
so
show my screen, I'll show the
oh,
registration
there it
page.
is. Yeah,
Beautiful.
right.
Oh,
So this is this Sunday. Whitley Strieber wrote a book called Jesus: A New Vision, and I thought it would be great to bring in the Hertogs, who are real scholars in ancient Christian understanding and modern spirituality, and see how that meshes with Whitley, just to give people an understanding what this dialogue will be about. Whitley's feeling in Jesus: A New Vision was that Jesus was a human being who evolved to this higher level of ascended master. And the Hertogs think that Jesus was already that. He came in with that awareness. So it's not that it'll be a
He was a
debate, but
walking.
we're going to look at both sides of that, not argument, that perspective, and see really, is there more to it? What makes sense? What really happened? And what does that mean to us? It's not just about Jesus. It's about what does that mean for our own spiritual evolution? So this is the kind of stuff that Portal to Ascension is doing. Also coming up, Joan, right, is the Kundalini conference, right? What is that?
Well, that's coming up in May, yes, and we actually have our speakers for that, and that's going to be a very exciting conference. That's May
I just got
23rd.
another great speaker for you for that, but we'll talk about it.
Well, let's talk after. We have some great speakers lined up, and we're also planning a Crystal Skull conference. So
yes,
in Neil's already big platform of events, we have exciting consciousness waker uppers. So any more comments that we want to say about this walk-in conference, or I think this waking up is really important, and I think anything we can do to help people have clarity on why they're feeling weird, because I get that if you're not already clairvoyant, somehow waking up and being clairvoyant might be a shock to your system.
Right. But I think if you're listening to this, you might have a clue that might be possible.
And that's why you're all signing up, because you realize that there is something going on. It's not like you wake up the next day and go, oh, well, look at that. I'm a walk-in. Holy moly. I just walked into this body. Yes. Move over. I'm taking over.
So it's exciting times. I think there's a lot of transformation on many, many levels. Starseeds. I mean, the Wish Alliance is walk-ins, indigos, starseeds, hybrids. I mean, who else is talking about that stuff in one sentence?
All of them together is right. In one sentence.
But Sheila, how did that come to you? Why? I mean, you're really the brainchild here of this movement. Where did that come from?
Oh, you can thank my guides. I was in bed asleep, and of course, when the walk-in experience happened, I was in bed asleep, and then it was like a lightning experience. And with this, I was in bed asleep, and all of a sudden, it was like I woke up with one of those jolts. And when I'm sitting here thinking, whew, that was kind of what's going on here, it was like, now it's time for you to start a Starseed Academy. There's already a Starseed. What do you mean a Starseed Academy? Because, I'm notorious for arguing with my guides. It's like, no, please, not again, But they're like, you're going to do this Starseed Academy. And as I began to think about it and to look at it, I'm like, Starseed Academy. No, it can't be a Starseed Academy. It has to do with walk-ins. Okay, but walk-ins are Starseeds, but they're also hybrids, and we're also indigos. And then it was like, bam, wish, walk-ins, indigos, Starseeds, and hybrids. And I'd like to take credit for that, but I'm just the conduit that came. It was really
you can take credit for it.
Okay, I'll take credit. My guides gave me the information. And the cool thing,
and you remembered it. And that's part of the whole thing. Right. We had a really good question here. Where did it go? Let's see. Tina, put that question back on. Walk-ins are not by soul contract. And that is really interesting. Does the body have a soul contract? Did the body you walked into have a soul contract that they were to leave at a preordained time?
The majority of all walk-ins are by soul contract, because we have a birth plan on the other side. So it's like a pre-birth plan. And in that plan, we develop this with all of our multidimensional aspects. We develop it with our spiritual team that's going to come in and serve as guidance to us. Any of our higher assistants that wants to help us plan this out. We plan who the players are going to be. And sometimes these plans has to take place. Like, all of us have agreed that we would be here at this particular point in time, but we did that eons ago, because all of these other pieces have to come into play before now can happen. And so that's the same thing with the soul contract. It's kind of like a play. Oh, I get to be this person this time. Can I be your mom? Can I be your dad? Can I be your friend? Kind of thing. And so there are soul contracts. Now, like in my case, this soul was ready to depart. It was weak, it was tired, it was giving up. And if that soul had left, these children's life mission would not have come into fruition, because I had to be here to help them get to where they are right now. My daughter's an animal communicator. My son is an angelic walk-in and has all of these phenomenal memories of being in on the other side. He came in at 7 from an appendicitis, and it's very, very unique to have 2 walk-ins in the same family. But in my case, we were out in the Andromedan system and we heard Gaia cry out. So we were here kind of doing our thing, working our own deal. And then this soul from this body cried out to be released. And because there was this resonance, then I was the aspect that was decided that would come in and inhabit this body. And so that was an instantaneous soul contract. But the majority of all walk-ins are developed through a birth plan. And a lot of people remember their birth plans, and they, I kind of have some memories about, sitting down and talking. And these are things that want to be accomplished, not in this lifetime, but in other lifetimes. And we all have those teams. So it's not just unique to walk-ins. Everyone has a birth plan. Everyone has what you decided that you wanted to do. And then we come to this beautiful planet and we get to play hide and seek and try to remember who we are. And so, when we come in, then we have that veil of forgetfulness that enshrouds us. And that's part of the beauty here. Then we get to remember who we are. And again, I always laugh and tell people it's kind of like, we're playing the ultimate game of hide and seek.
Right. I love it. One of the things about the conference I realized that I love the most is the chats that go on throughout the conference, just like they're going on right now, just being able to communicate with each other. There's so many questions. It's like we are already a tribe. I could tell a lot of you are going to be at that conference because I feel like we're creating that tribe again. So Neil, any last minute
I just have a question, Sheila. I think for me, I may have had a walk-in experience in my last lifetime, but whose lifetime was that? I guess it was whatever the integration was. And then that experience then is giving me a bigger perspective in this lifetime.
Yes. Because it's imprinted into the soul aspect that came into this life. And so just as I said, we have the physical genetic imprinting to the body, we also have that spiritual imprinting. And so all of the experiences that we have ever had, good, bad, ugly, they're all imprinted into our higher soul.
Great. That makes sense. Thank you. I think it's going to be a great conference. We're going to be doing more conversations all week long on New Realities YouTube, on Portal to Ascension YouTube. We'll do more here at Joan. What is this? Is this on
a lot
YouTube,
of interviews
Joan?
coming up.
We have a lot of interviews set up, and I think we have another interview set up with one of your walk-in speakers and Sheila again in mid-December. So guys, you're going to just stay tuned because we're going to have all the upcoming speakers over the next, few months so that you can get acquainted with some of them. For sure. So I put a link down below. You can use that or go to Portal to Ascension or the Wish Alliance and really check out the Thursday night event. The speakers, it's a very intimate encounter. If you come on the Zoom, you have a chance after to ask questions and, you can ask them in person, like smile and talk to the people. And it's probably one of the most powerful groups I've aligned with in the last year or two.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And to close out, if you guys you can close out when I'm done with this, Joan, but I just want to share some other announcements for Portal to Ascension before we officially finish for today. And Tina, if you could bring up my share screen that I'm going to pull up right here. So as most of you know, we do many, many, many events at Portal to Ascension, but I've been busy in creation mode on an epic level for the last 10 days. And I just want to share with you some of the productions, and there's going to be like another 10 of them in between these events. But here is the schedule right now for Portal to Ascension. JJ Desiree Hurtak is going to be December 11th, the Cosmic Christ event. So the one on the 5th that's happening right now is kind of like a stepping stone to this one. We're doing a 6 month series with Michael Tellinger. So this is the second month right there. I am doing my own presentation on the truth, life, and the times of Pythagoras on December 19th, which has been like 16 years of research that has come together. The walk-ins conference, of course, is going to be how we start out the year, just like we started out this year. Great way to start the year here. And all I'm doing right now really is just showing you some of the productions of what you really have in store for you, because also the panels of these events are going to be streamed on YouTube, just like in the walk-ins conference. Laura Eisenhower coming back, and then here is one that is literally part of the reason why I started doing all this work in the first place is the exploration, a 2-day exploration in the Indus Valley civilization and ancient India origins, dating back thousands and thousands of years, looking at the migration routes of Mohenjo-daro all the way into South India, how the gods even came about, what the truth is there an extraterrestrial connection? And that is the beginning of our 12-month ancient civilization series, in which every single month we're doing a conference on a different ancient civilization. And you can see here the second month in February, the Sumerians and the Mesopotamia online conference, right? Then Galactic Origins, going through really quick. Egypt and the extraterrestrial connection, March 5th. Mysticism, indigenous healing, and modern encounters with other dimensions, sound and vibration. And just to wrap it up here, then we have
You have the
nope,
Sumerian thing coming up too,
yeah.
right?
So we have a lot, and that's only the next 4 months, guys. So 2022, there is no holding back. There never really was any holding back, but we're really just going to put out a lot of content and just provide insight and continue to be a resource as we're moving forward and evolving. And all this information is coming out now, and we're just connecting the dots here. So I'm excited to share all of this with you.
Including an
Right.
in-person conference in San Diego in
Yes.
September that we're
Oh
just
yes, tell us
getting
about that,
ready
Joan,
to.
real quick.
Yeah. Well, we're really excited about the in-person conference, which is going to be down in San Diego at Mariners Village. We're just putting together the speaker list now, but we want to get you all excited about that. So, Neil, I don't know if you're coming back, but it was great to see you. This has been really
Well,
interesting and fun
thank
to
you,
share this.
Joan, and
Yes,
Joan
thank
of
you.
Angels, an incredible painter of angels. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I know I had my wake up with the angelic realms, and I still connect with them all the time. And the extraterrestrials, and forgot, oh my God, I'm going to have to close with Avon. I forgot he's here from the Zeta Reticuli. He's our tall white ambassador who's overseeing.
And here's my book, Making Contact There, for if you want to find out more about which extraterrestrial race and kind and concept. But
Mhm.
we're all connected to extraterrestrials. We are
Where can they get the
We
book,
are
Alan?
They can get it on Amazon, Making Contact on Amazon, Alan Steinfeld. And it's not just my writing, it is a collection of the best in the business: Linda Moulton Howe, Whitley Strieber, Daryl Anka, Nick Pope, Grant Cameron, JJ Desiree Hertog, Karen Corey, Mary Rodwell. These are the all stars of our team, and they've all come together. So that's another level of yes,
Exciting.
we are stage. Yes, we are.
And then you're going to be on Sunday.
Yes.
Okay, good. And anything
I'm
else
also
you have
doing a
upcoming?
predictions panel for the new year.
Oh yeah.
We have to put that up on Portal. I've been doing this every year with the Open Center, getting 5 astrologers to predict the astrological forecast for the new year. We've done it in the beginning of January for the past 5 years. So that's coming together. Hoping to get Sean David Morton on that panel. He said he would do it. So he's just back on the scene. I have a bunch of other really good astrologers, and look for that on Portal to Ascension January 6th. So it's going to be free, live, and informative. What's coming down? You know, when 2020 came on, we did a very intense panel that said everyone agreed something world changing was going to come out of that year. William Stick Evers was on that event, and he called it a black swan event, which is something that just comes out of nowhere and totally changes the trajectory of time and space, the timelines. And he predicted that in 2020, in the early parts of 2020, that would happen. So you never know unless you look at the astrology what might come down.
And they say so much is happening now with our astrology, which is similar to what was a few hundred years ago and the days of the revolution and in the
Right,
past.
we're
So
getting a Pluto square Pluto. I think that's what's happening in the United States chart this year. Or maybe it's opposition. There is a Pluto, or maybe it's a return. Yeah, no, I think it's 287. Yeah, yes, I think it is coming
solar
around.
return.
Pluto is coming around again to where it was in the birth chart of the U.S. on July 4th, 1776, and that's coming back around, which can mean a new beginning, maybe a new beginning for our country. Pluto is definitely a planet of transformation and
Well,
change.
definitely that event is going to be worth going to then. I mean, listen, the changes we've had to endure the last few years, I'd like to see what the stars have to tell us about. And I also want to see what all the hybrids and the walk-ins, especially the walk-ins, have to say at the
Right.
conference coming up. I'm already fascinated. Every time I listen to you, Sheila, I learn more and more and more. So, guys, we're coming to a close. Anything else you want to say, Sheila?
You know, just sign up, become part of the tribe. It feels like we're already, there's such a resonance here. Please join us on our Thursday night meetings. Please come to the walk-in conference. Sign up for all of Neil's phenomenal presentations. It sounds like you're going to have a rock star year. That's going to be so fun. And Alan, I mean, what can you say, Alan?
No, we have a big month ahead of us, Sheila. We
We
have all of
do.
December. We really have to
Yeah.
do a bunch. I mean, we're doing about 3 talks a week on my youtube.com/new realities. We're interviewing different walk-ins, and
Yeah.
Joan and Neil, we're all coming together to really share new knowledge, which
Yeah.
I think
We've
is
created
great.
a really solid team between
I
all of us.
love it. There is a solid team, guys. Portal2ascension.org is the place to go, along with New Realities, Wish Alliance, and Joan of Angels. We're
Yes.
just really grateful that you come out and be on this broadcast with us. We're excited to help step into a new consciousness with all of you. It's a group effort as we shift into the planetary ascension.
I
All
think
right, guys.
just want to tell someone in the chat. I don't know how to write in the chat, but Melinda, you can email me at newrealities@earthlink.net.
New
Newrealities@earthlink.net.
Realities at
earthlink.net for anyone who has a interesting UFO transformation
right.
story.
I
Yes.
have put that in the chat. If it
Thank
shows
you.
up there, go for it. All right, guys. Neil, anything else you want to add?
My pure, utmost, unconditional love to everybody here. Love you all so much. I'm truly just honored just to be able to engage with you and interact, and I'm having a lot of fun doing it. And I love every single person on this panel. We're just going to keep moving forward and creating a lot of awesome events and experiences so that we can all uplift each other. That's it from me.
That's how I feel. I love co-hosting with you, Neil. I do believe we have this spiritual mission to bring out this material. In fact, we all have that agreement. And it is just so fun to play together on planet Earth from the higher dimensions, guys. So we'll see you all next week.
Great.
Thank
Right.
you for joining us, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye,
And we'll
everyone.
see you all at the conference. Don't forget, we want to see you all
Yes.
there.
Sign up for the conference,
And we'll keep going.
portal2ascension.org.
Yes.
Sign up for the walk-in conference.
See you
And the
soon.
Wish Alliance, etc., etc., etc. Bye for now.